Bob.
Tight Ass Tuesdays. We're going to talk about how $30 for the tenant made the owner 30 grand in a sale. Yes, you heard that right. Stay tuned.
Hi, Billy Bob.
Hey, morning. You look fresh. You feeling good?
Yeah, really good. Christmas party last night, good.
Nice. Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Tight Ass Tuesdays. I love this one. Don't be a Grinch to the landlords out there. You know, don't be a Grinch.
Who would have thought it could make you so much money?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about a property this morning where, you know, made a particularly big difference, where it actually helped the presentation of the property by looking at giving the tenants a small rent rebate. But I think this is a particularly appropriate topic for, you know, this time of the year. It's a really good time to still be selling your property. There's really not much stock on the market at the moment, so taking advantage of buyers who really need to spend their pre-approval. They don't want to be going back to the banks in the new year. Take advantage of that. Put your property on the market now, and you're basically selling in isolation, not competition, which is looking like there'll be some more stock coming on, you know, for the new year. But if you've got a tenant in there, you can still do that. Just maybe not a bad idea to think about a rent rebate.
Because I guess at the end of the day, you don't have to give your tenant, according to your lease, you don't have to give your tenant any sort of rental relief. You have the rights to sell the property without giving any rent off to your tenant, as long as you've got reasonable access, and reasonable is normally, you know, 2 opens or 1 open a week. But looking after these guys really makes a difference. Yeah, how'd that work with this one?
So 2 at 6 Francis Street, we sold a property in DY, a lovely 2-bedroom apartment. For the majority of the campaign, it was really tough to work around the presentation of the property. As I said, this one was tenanted. It was a little bit tricky. There was a little bit of a language barrier there as well. So to try and get the property presented as if it was like an owner-occupier living there, it was proving a little bit difficult. Once we introduced a rent rebate, immediately after that first open home, we actually found the buyer, and it really made a difference when we had a conversation in terms of price, because I think it was much easier to see how the property could look in a more renovated or conventional layout as well, rather than having furniture everywhere. And ultimately impacted the sale price.
And so what made you do $30?
$30 a week. I guess when you look at what a normal rental rebate is, you kind of calculate it off the weekly rent. So if your apartment's only rented out for $500 a week, it'd be a smaller sort of rent rebate than a big house. $30 a week, though, that was going to stay for the rest of the campaign until we were sold. It was just fortunate it actually, happened in the first week of that rebate being applied.
Yeah, perfect. And so that rebate stopped once it was sold. How did that work, or when did you introduce it? When did it cut in, cut out? Yeah, so for owners, if you're going to do this, just be mindful to do a rent rebate, not a rent reduction, because it will impact. You don't want to be reducing the rent. It's better off to actually rebate it at the end of the campaign. And also it's 60 days notice. So if you put the rent down, you want that rent to go back up, you have to give the tenant 60 days notice the rent's going back up. So a rebate, you don't have that notice period, but the rental reduction, you do have that notice period. So be very, very careful, agents, because one day a tenant will pull you up on it and they'll be right. Yeah. But the rental rebates work really well. And then it just comes off the gross sum of rent
back at the end of the month or at the end of the campaign, and then you're all done.
And you know what I also like a two-touch rebate. So if you do like $15 and $15 or $30 and $30, so $30 off straight away, and then per week, if access is good and presentation is good, an extra $30 or 50 and 50 or 100 and 100. And what the tenant actually does is actually really tries to win that rebate, the second half of the rebate. With access, with condition of the property. So it's actually a really clever idea to make that investment in your tenant, and let them do the best they can in order to get money off for themselves.
Yeah, and let's face it, everyone's busy over Christmas. Having a Wednesday and a Saturday open home, I guess any time of the year can be slightly inconvenient, but
tough.
Particularly over the Christmas period. It's just a nice gesture, and if you already have some issues there with presentation or access, it's just a nice way of trying to find a middle ground. It certainly allows the agent to do the best job they can to get you the most amount of money, but it's a better way to go in and just try and get some try and get a positive response rather than just like hitting the tenant with a stick, right? Because
absolutely, and I think if it works well, it's better than selling it vacant, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If it works well for you, because when it's vacant, you got nothing coming in. When it's tenanted, you got that money flowing, and the new person may want a tenant, so it actually works really well.
That's so true. Yeah, you're definitely already winning because you're keeping the tenant there, as you said, which is a nice option for the the new purchaser, or you're already up. You're $400-500 a week if that's an apartment, or even more for a house.
Big time. Billy Bob, thank you.
I think that's it.
That's rental rebates on Tight Ass Tuesdays, and that's what you should do if you're selling your property. Definitely don't be scared about selling your property if it's tenanted. And you know what? You can always, if it doesn't work out, you can always pull it off the market anyway, and then have another go when the tenant moves out. So a lot of landlords are just reluctant about even selling. But give it a go, offer it to your tenant, and often it goes. Most often than not, it actually works out really well.
Yeah, and maybe even chat with the tenant at the start of the campaign and say, is there anything that you've noticed or you would fix if you were buying the property? Sometimes it would just be small things like lights have blown out. The agent might not have picked it up. But if it's already done at the start of the campaign, it's a good first impression when you walk through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go Tight Ass Tuesday.
Thank you. I'm going to roll the outro.
There, guys. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.